welcome to the Texas Consilium Show. I'm Michael Yorba, chairman of Advanced Community Fund, and my guest today is Matt Briggs. He is the CEO of Four Hands. And Matt, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Good to be here.
All right, congratulations first off on your nomination for the Texas Consilium Business Excellence Award. Thanks for taking the time for doing the interview. I wanted to start off by giving you the opportunity to tell us about yourself and your business.
Sure. We'll start with the business things. This is a Business Excellence Award, but we're based in Austin, Texas, and we've got a pretty complex business here. We started out really being importers and wholesalers and distributors. So, buying antiques in Asia and bringing them over and distributing them. And that was, in the late 90s. We evolved for that, buying production, furniture, but it became pretty obvious in the mid 2000s that, that the business model of just buying stuff and bringing it over here and selling it for more was really dying. There's really not much of a future in that business model, and it's really just an eroding margin game. So, we evolved the business to being really a global sourcing company with a lot of people working in the design department. So, we don't just find stuff overseas. We really do a lot of the design and then have it made in factories in about 6 different countries. And we also do furniture across, basically the whole household. So we do everything from, wooden furniture encased with upholstery. We do lighting, pillows. We do a great outdoor business. And, essentially we've gone from being an importer, when we started, to now really sort of leading the industry and being looked to as a style leader and as well as an operational leader in the industry. We've also embraced technology. So, for instance, we have more people working in our technology department than we have working in sales. So, the result of that is, a highly progressive company, in our space, very technologically advanced, very to deal with, and basically serve the retail and the design trade. So we really don't do any direct to consumer sales, but we do, just a wide variety of business from selling to the top and largest retailers in the country to doing an incredible business with the interior design.
Thanks for that answer. Tell me about your vision for your business for the future. Say, give it 5 years out. Where do you want it to be?
So one of the things we've really been shooting for, is scale, because it's kind of industry scale that's given you so many advantages. And, some of our competitors that we sort of competed directly with, for the last 10, 15 years, and we were a similar size, we tend to be 4 to 5 to 10 times their revenue now. And in this day where we see so much dominance in every industry, whether it's Netflix or Tesla or Amazon, we really feel that the people who sort of lead technology and also lead with a fantastic product, have a better opportunity than ever to really dominate a segment. And we feel in this, in this business to business segment of having a great interactive customer experience with a lot of tools to help make customers successful, as well as operational excellence. And on top of that, just working with the absolute best factories, the best designers, we're really looking to dominate our field. So we've grown, we've grown steadily as a business, but, we've doubled about every 5 years in revenue. And if we double again in the next 5 years, that would get us to about $500 million. And, that's kind of where I see us going.
What makes your business so special?
We get asked that a lot, and honestly, I wish there was a simple answer to it. One of the advantages of being a 50-year-old company, one of the advantages and disadvantages is we've become an incredibly complex company. With a level of complexity you wouldn't achieve in a brand new company. And that has its downsides, but it also gives you an incredible moat around the company. So, it's everything from the relationships we have with the factory and factory owners in the countries we deal with. We really get to work, we are the aspirational people to work with. So we get to work with the best of the best, people from the source. We have amazing employees in Asia. We have over 100 employees there, 4 different offices, and 4 countries. And then, in Austin, as well as overseas, we have this amazing culture that really attracts the right kind of people and retains the right kind of people. People who just really care about the company, care about customers, and care about continued excellence. I think we do a great job of living our core values, and what that means is you've got a whole team of people really focused around a set of core values and a set of principles that really stand out and make us excellent.
Now, the Texas Consilium Award is based on business excellence. So the criteria encompasses areas like customer satisfaction, operational excellence, employee satisfaction, and business performance, and more. Describe how your company exemplifies excellence.
Sure. I mean, I think one of the things that's just embedded in the DNA of the company now is continuous improvement. There's no such thing, or there's no part of the culture where people are like, hey, it's good enough. I think what you're finding on every aspect, from our technology systems to design to sales support to the sales team, the quality of the showroom experiences, the quality of the photography we do, um, and the relationship, upgrading the vendors we use, and by then I mean trucking companies, distributors, delivery systems. Just the concept of continual improvement is just embedded in the company, and I think it's also tied to a very generous and reaching profit sharing program. Basically, unless you're a commissioned salesperson, pretty much everyone in the company is in on the profit sharing. We have open book management, so every quarter we sort of in depth go through all the financial results for the company, and profit sharing checks are distributed quarterly. And for the last, I would say 7 years, that value has been to the average employee has been around or over 20% their base salary. So if you take a new job and you're fresh out of school for 50 grand a year and you get a 10 grand profit sharing bonus at the end of the year or more, I think it really ties people into that. Hey, the success of the business means something to them and to their personal bottom line.
Well put. Now, if you're speaking to a audience of Texas business leaders and they want to improve their own business and leadership journeys, what lessons have you learned that you'd most like to share with them?
Sure, we've learned so many lessons over the years, right? And the joyful kind and the painful kind. And there are a few things I focus on. I don't know if they work for everyone, but they've made a big difference, I think, for me and the company. One of them is I spend very little time personally, and I try to encourage and build a system that focuses very little around failure, and it more focuses on success and doing more of what works. So, to give you an example of that, if we have people in product development developing product for the next season, and they bring out a bunch of product, we look at what worked and we celebrate it and we order more of it and we do line extensions and we build business around that. We spend almost no time focusing on what didn't work. We just take that product, discontinue it, send it to our outlet, and set it off. We don't have any of those brainstorming sessions about what went wrong with this one. I sort of feel if you want people to be creative and do great stuff, you've got to accept that some of the things don't work out as well. And you just find the most efficient, quick, and cheap way to get rid of it and just focus on more what works. And my feeling about that is it just got to lead to a level of job satisfaction and trust where you're treating people like adults. People learn from their own mistakes, but you really, you get more of the behavior you reward. And I think focusing on successes rather than failures, for me, it's just produced a much more vibrant culture than the other way around. And I say that in the context of working with companies that, where the opposite is true. You can just tell by the employee reaction if you go wrong. They work in an environment where someone's going to get into trouble for something that day. Did you want another example?
No, that's good. What is Four Hands doing in the way of social corporate responsibility, giving back to the community, working with the rest of the people that you do business with, and that are the end users of your product?
Sure. So, there's two sources of social responsibility in a business like ours. One is on the supply chain side, and the other is on the on the domestic side. So if you start on the supply chain side, we do focus on using a lot of recycled materials and reclaimed materials in our furniture, and we do focus on sourcing sustainable woods and responsibly sourced wood. So we're making sure that the product that we're manufacturing and distributing is made up of socially responsible components. On the side in Austin, what we find is, central to, who we are as a business is we fundamentally believe that people's environments around them affect them directly and affect their moods. In other words, if someone wakes up in a beautiful home with beautiful furniture surrounding them they're proud of, their day starts off in a whole different way to if they're in an environment no furniture, or really horrible furniture. So, what Four Hands does is partners with numerous local charities to furnish their facilities. We've done this. Some of them do like to remain anonymous, but due to the nature of what they do, which is sheltering young people who have come into harm's way, and they put them in programs where they house these kids. And what we've done is have our whole team go in and not just put furniture in there, but beautifully furnish these homes for the kids. And then we have a team that goes in and does that. So they do the planning, they do the installation, and make the whole experience great for charity. So that when they walk out of there, the place is furnished beautifully. And then we also do for the charities we believe in, the company then also asks for a list of what else the charities need. From everything from board games to clothing or whatever, and then we do drives inside the company and get those kind of things together. So we've done things like that. We do it for probably 3 or 4 charities where we almost completely furnish their entire facility, and it may not just be something for for a charity, helping people. Some of them are, one of the ones we're working with right now is one of the arts communities in Texas that promotes art and culture. And again, we feel like, essentially we are in the fashion industry and we are in the art business. So, it's in our best interest, and we're deeply committed to working with the artistic community as well.
Great answer. All right, that concludes our portion of the interview that we're going to use publicly. I want to ask you a couple of additional questions, but stick around and we can go through those. Thank you very much, Matt.